Hey guys, my name is RJ, this is The Secret Stacks, and this is my April wrap-up. And as you can see, I'm in my new apartment. Eventually I'll do an apartment tour, or maybe as I just try to film, you'll see the entire apartment as I try to figure out where best to do this. Right now I picked the most inoffensive corner that I could think of. I'm somebody who I don't have any sort of decorations, posters, no bookshelves since I do the ebooks, so I'm figuring out how to make my background exciting like it was in my previous videos, so bear with me, I'll figure it out. As always, stick around at the end of the video to figure out what else was distracting me from reading. But to jump right into it, the first book I read was Prodigy, the second book in the Legend series by Marie Lu. And this one I actually did on audiobook, which I've been doing a lot more audiobooks lately, mostly because I can read almost twice as much, which is awesome. But also just as I've been moving, it's a lot easier and I don't need to be sitting down, laying down like I do with ebooks. And Prodigy was an awesome book in ebook form, just like the first one, Legend. I actually liked it even more than Legend. It really expanded the story and made it really interesting. It's really cool how Marie Lu sets up is essentially an alternative view of America in the future if they ended up like North and South Korea, which throw in your typical YA drama, and it's a really enjoyable read, a really quick read, and I'm really looking forward to reading the final book, Champion. All in all, I'd give Prodigy 4 stars, really fun read, but again, just like the first book, I felt like I knew what was going to happen a lot of the time. I could see it coming, and it didn't take away from the experience, but I wasn't surprised that much. And the second book I read this month was Lumen, which really cool, even more so than the reading, just the formatting. I'd give it a 5 for such an original idea and execution, but maybe only a 3 for how much I actually enjoyed the story, because the formatting, as cool as it was, I think really limited a YA book in that it really made the interpersonal relationships difficult. And if you haven't heard of Lumen, it's told through a series of hacked documents, which is really enjoyable. Something else that's interesting is I also read it on ebook, and I felt like a little bit was lost in translation because it didn't translate super well onto the ebook screen and it was a little hinky. So just keep that in mind if you're deciding whether to do the physical book or the ebook. The third book I read, and I've already done a review on this and a rant, is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. And as much as I made light of the experience, and this was my first real new adult book that I've ever read, I actually really enjoyed it, even if I didn't like the ending. I'd give it 4 stars. It's just a fun, fast read. And a lot of people who are probably a lot more emotionally attuned than I am really enjoy the ending and the love stories. So I would take what I say with a grain of salt. And finally, to wrap up the month, 2 more audiobooks. We have Speaker for the Dead and Xenocide by Orson Scott Card. And these are pseudo-sequels to Orson Scott Card's seminal work, Ender's Game, which is hands down my favorite book of all time. And Speaker for the Dead is a worthy successor. It's really interesting. I want to talk about the entire Ender's Game universe in a different video, but you don't get a lot of the war and the fighting that you get in Ender's Game, but you do get the moral and the science fiction pondering that I think is a really underrated part of Ender's Game, and that really comes to the forefront when you read Speaker for the Dead and Xenocide, and there's one more book in the series, Children of the Mind. So I'll be reading that next month, and then maybe doing an entire video just talking about the series as a whole and the different extensions that there are from a really excellent book. But if you're asking me to rate them, I would rate Speaker for the Dead 4 stars and Xenocide 3 stars. The more sort of high science fiction it gets isn't really up my alley, so just keep in mind the more sort of technical it gets, the less interested I get, and that may be affecting my ratings here. So that was my month, 5 books, which is one ahead of schedule, which is great because I've been lagging a little bit behind in my last couple months. So hopefully I can keep this up, especially now that I'm doing the audiobooks. Now for what's been distracting me. And the big thing this month was the move. And moving is a pain in the ass, but it's over and I'm settling in. I'll probably still be settling in 12 months from now when the lease is up, but I'm really enjoying the new space and hopefully I get to share more of it with you guys once I actually make it look nice and presentable. But in terms of what other forms of entertainment I've been doing this month, I finally finished the Fairy Tail anime just in time to realize that I caught up right when the series ended, which was devastating Its fairy tale will come back, I guarantee it, because it just needs some more time to catch up with the manga. But it's going to be a year or a couple year wait, which is killing me. So I'm definitely a little bit in an anime slump right now. But I'm going to jump into the fairy tale manga. And also, I have some other mangas that I need to read. Attack on Titan, which the little librarian has convinced me that I need to check out. And I will be looking for new anime soon. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments below. Next, obviously, Game of Thrones is back on, which is excellent. And if you guys haven't checked out my comparing presidential candidates to Game of Thrones characters, I don't know if it's actually funny, but it's interesting at least, I think. So you guys should check that out if you want to. I know it's a little bit of a risk doing a political thing on a booktube channel, but coming from the background of reading the books and how chaotic and crazy the politics of Westeros are, and just the insanely realistic parallels between our own politics that we're seeing here in America. Sorry, all of my enlightened friends from all across the world. You guys don't have any idea how good you have it not having some of these wackos as your politicians. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. And yes, I do make fun of political characters, but I make fun of all of them, so no biases there. And finally, the last thing I've been watching is going back and experiencing the OC, because that's exactly what it is. It's not just watching, it's an experience, and I love it. I love me some Seth Cohen. I love all the Cohens. I love Ryan. It's just a beautiful, beautiful show and a lot of fun to rewatch, so I'm really enjoying that. And that is it for my April, but I look forward to getting back to a regimented upload schedule, so you guys can look forward to that, and looking forward to see me floundering around my new apartment as I figure out how to do this. But keep being awesome, guys, and until next time, see ya.